Good. Are you at your school?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know, like, do you think we should just, like, walk through it? Like,
Yeah, I was thinking we could just kind of go over everything and like see if we needed to make any last minute changes or anything like that.
okay.
Because I was working on it a bunch yesterday and I added a bunch more.
Okay,
Um,
cool.
so I just need to do like a there's like the side parts of all the like written lessons. That's like all the stuff that we're saying, like all the stuff on the left side. I was just going through and like making sure that was all filled out.
Oh, I didn't even realize that. I'm glad you caught that. I didn't
Well,
realize that was objectives.
yeah, because I didn't even realize because we have an individual lesson plan that we did for 450, and we had to and I like did the whole thing, and then when I was showing it to her, she's like, "Yeah, it looks good, but this whole left side, you need to fill that out too." And I was like, "Didn't know that. Good to know. Good to know." So yeah, I was just making sure that it was all filled out and everything.
Because it's due tonight, and I was gonna ask you about that. Do we need to, like, submit it to her, or we just leave it on the drive and she's gonna, like, check it?
I think we just leave it on our Google Drive, and she should be able to go in and check.
Okay, because I think it's all done, completed, so
Yeah,
all the parts.
I think we should be fine.
And
Um,
then you said we didn't have to do, like, the plan supports.
I don't think. I mean, we might because we have a focus learner. You know how it says Jenna has an IEP goal of
Mm-hmm.
remaining on task. I'm just wondering if because like a plan scaffold slash support, it could be us like reminding. Well, we have to change Jenna to CJ. That's another thing I figured out. But
Okay.
but it could just be like remind or check on CJ periodically throughout the lesson to make sure he's on task. Like give him a verbal reminder or have like a written cue card on his desk reminding him to stay on task. Just something like that. And
Okay.
I think that's just because we have a person with an IEP goal. If but everybody else, I don't think we need to have one for them. So
Okay. I can
yeah,
add
it's just
that.
okay. Yeah, that'd be good. Uh, my computer wasn't being slow. I would scroll through the lesson so I could look at it. But
So,
school.
do you want me to just say, um, just like, I guess I'll like say what I'm gonna say and then just like pause for like a student's response.
Mm-hmm.
Or do you want to like, or do you want to like pretend like you're the student or something and then, or like, how do you think we should practice it? Do you think you have enough
I
time or?
yeah, I still have like 20 minutes, but yeah, just like kind of run through what you're gonna say, because just so we have like an idea of what we're gonna probably say, and
Okay.
just so we have an idea of how it's gonna sound and everything.
Okay. So I'll just, okay. And then, so we don't have to do the individual part. And then I also heard that not to focus on the conclusion of the lesson, but I don't know if that's
I,
completely true.
I think no, it's not conclusion. It wasn't. We didn't have to focus on the guided or the independent practice
Okay.
because that's not really like has any involvement with the teachers. So that would make sense because we're doing like a simulation. So that'd be kind of silly to make us do the independent practice.
Yeah.
So yeah, the conclusion though, I think that's something we have to like make sure we focus on
Okay.
too.
So I guess I'll just start reading what I'm going to say and kind of sum up like what my goals are for my portion, I guess.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll start out class by getting the students' attention by, my way was always like class, and the students will respond, yes, yes. And then I'll do it again to make sure they are focused on me, eyes on me. So they will say yes, yes again. And then at this time, I should make sure all students are looking at me. And if they're not, maybe like call out a student to make sure that they are aware that they should have their eyes on me. And when the class is silent, I will instruct them on what we're going to be learning today, which is subtraction. And then I'll start out with a few questions. You can tell me what the symbol we use for subtraction. And they should say minus sign, but if it goes in a different direction, I would kind of probably have to re-inform them of what subtraction is.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a feeling that it should be minus sign. And then I'll say, okay, great job. I can tell we have been practicing. Now I would like to do some practicing with writing the sign. I would like for you to take out a piece of paper and a pencil out, wait a few minutes, and now quickly draw what the minus sign looks like. Raise your hand if you think you got it, and you can tell me what it means as well. The students will show their picture to the class, and the students could say, it looks like a dash, and we use it when we subtract. So that would
Yeah,
be.
yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, because with my part, I was just kind of like, I was gonna do like the class along with you, just so
Okay,
we get that collaboration, and so it'd be
like
like a little.
transition, yeah.
Hmm. And then I would say that I would respond to the student's picture, and I'd be like, great picture, and then I would kind of transition it into like the rationale of our lesson. I was like, okay, that's what subtraction is. Good job. It means we take away. So we're going to use this knowledge of subtraction to help us with problems up to subtraction problems up to 10, and cover situation like losing scales or losing something that you hold dear to yourself or something that you really like and give away, just like the main character did in the book, The Rainbow
Right.
Fish. Just so we could kind of introduce that, and then
Okay.
we can go on to like modeling and all that.
Oh, yeah, so since you introduced the book, that's kind
Mhm.
of like a good transition on how to move. So I guess I'll just like start out telling the class, since are we gonna like call each other by our last names or first name?
I did it in the lesson. I'm not really sure. I always feel awkward calling myself Mr. Kozik. So if
I'll just say, so since Jason told us about rainbow fish, I'm gonna read the book Rainbow Fish to you. Raise your hand if you've ever heard about this book. Some students could or might raise their hands. And then I'll say, this book is going to help us out with our lesson today. Rainbow Fish is a story about a fish with rainbow scales. He starts making friends by giving away his rainbow scales. And then I'd point to the cover. When looking at the cover, what do you notice about his scales? I noticed that his scales are very shiny and bright. And some students might have some other ideas, like they're very
Mhm.
colorful. And then I'll say, yeah, shake your head twice if you would want to have shiny scales like this fish. Students could nod their head, and then I would agree, like, oh yeah, I think I would want shiny scales too. I think they're very pretty. I'd pretend that I read and finished the book. Then I would ask questions about the book. What did we think about it? They could tell me their honest opinion. I would say I liked it because he was. I would say it was because he was giving. I missed it. Okay, the student said I liked it, but why did he keep losing his scales? I would say it's because he was giving them to his friends he was meeting. What do you think, class? And the students could say, oh, I think that too, me too. And then, let's see, I think maybe our thing got messed up.
Yeah, I was just looking at that too. Yeah, I don't know what happened there.
So maybe, so since I talk about the book, I guess this could be a good part where I um, introduce him like losing the scales, because at a few rows down it says, let's figure out how many scales he got rid of by using subtraction.
Mhm.
So maybe in the book I can say what happened to his scales throughout the book. And the students can say he lost some. Do you think that looks okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll bring in the idea of subtraction, and then so in the modeling section, I guess I would just kind of go through how to figure out where you're subtracting. So I would model. I think you're gonna write the problems on the board, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I will just go through. Okay, let's figure out how many scales he started with, and then let's go to the end of book and see how many he ended with. And we were kind of just like set up the problem, how it goes in that section, and then I guess it could be your part now.
Yeah, I was just after you told them about the rainbow fish and like you had one student shouts out scales. I took that part and I was like, good question. Remember that we raise our hand when we're speaking and that we don't blurt out. And I was like, scales act as the fish's skin. Scales are sharper and harder than our skin, but scales protect our body. Just to like give them that little bit of information. And then whenever you explain what we're doing in the book, like relating it to subtraction, I'm like, all right, to help us find out how many scales the rainbow fish had, like after you, all right. And I said, Miss Bed and I brought this neat poster, and it's like hang up homemade rainbow fish poster with the removable scales. And
So
then,
yeah, I'll make sure like when I introduce the book that I pause enough so that you're able to, I can maybe introduce the book and that the fish has scales, and then you can go into like what the scales mean to a fish, like how they're hard and they protect its body. Like,
okay.
so in that part we can kind of like, I'll kind of pause and let you do some of the speaking too. And then maybe like if I'm teaching, you notice a kid who keeps raising their hand, you can be the one to be like, okay, remember you need, or speak, you need to raise your hand before you speak. Kind of like, I guess, guide the class to stay focused on whoever's talking.
Okay. And then like after we kind of introduce like how many scales he has and then what we're doing with it, we're taking away his scales. I was going to write all that stuff underneath the poster. And then after we look at the back of the book and figure out that he's missing scales, or we figure out that he only has one scale, I was like, since the fish is left with just one scale, let's take some of the scales off our poster and figure out how many he gave away. And then I'll take off scales from the poster until there's like one left. And I'm like, look at that, we have one scale left. How many scales did we take off? And hopefully the student will be like 4.
Yeah.
So, and that's what I have for the guided practice section, or that was modeling.
Okay, so then after that would be guided practice. So I would just tell him that we're going to do more examples in the class. I'll pretend to pass out a rainbow mat worksheet and some gems. There's a list of subtraction problems. You will use your gems to find the answer of the subtraction problems. Students may ask, can we start after we have our mat? I would say, yeah, you can put your gems on your mat, but be creative. How do you say your last name?
Kozik.
Kozik. Mr. Kozik will be doing the problems along with you on the board. You are more than welcome to work ahead. Just remember to check your answers.
One thing I did here, I was talking to a couple people in my class. They're like, you can't actually, if you tell them to like get out a mat and give them rainbow gems, you can't actually do that. They'll pretty much just tell you we can't do that. And so so what I was thinking, like our lesson plan is fine. Like we don't have to change it. We're just supposed to write it like it was a normal class. But when we actually teach it, we should be like, all right, get out a piece of paper and then draw. We could tell them to like, all right, draw your own fish with 5 scales on it or something like that.
I'm going to write that down so I remember.
Yeah, I was going to, like, after we're all done with this and we're about to teach it, I was going to, like, print out the lesson plan and make notes on what we should do.
So they will be able to have a piece of paper, you think?
Yeah, they I think on their desk they have, like a notebook and then a pencil. Like, it won't show them getting it out, but we can be like, all right, I want everybody to get out a piece of paper and a pencil. And then
they can just draw and erase the scales, or
I think like they could either cross them out or erase them or whatever. And then like we just got to make sure like, all right, has everyone like erased one scale? And like just it's a lot of verbal reassurance because we can't actually like interact with them.
Right. Okay, so I guess for guiding, it's just we're going to be going through the problems like together.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I don't want to like read word for word, but I mean that's the main thing. We're gonna do problems as a class, and we just have to make sure that or pretend that they're following along and getting the information they need from subtraction. So
And going through the steps and all that.
right.
I like how you did that on the guided practice. How we're like, all right, we're gonna write down our steps as we go. Cause
Yeah, I thought that would be helpful because I didn't like I know for me like I have to have things like step by step, or at least when I was younger, like learning. So
oh no, yeah, no,
I think that would
definitely.
be a good, especially to some people who like the IEP person who's off task that might keep them like busy, like constantly having to write, like be busy. So
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, that was a good idea. So, um, and then independent work. I don't really have to worry about that section.
right.
Um, and then the conclusion. From what I read, the conclusion looks like what we're supposed to have. So
Yeah, we'll just
I
like
think
ask what they learned that day.
just kind of go. We just kind of have to go over it and
Like go over the important stuff that we learned and then just make sure they understand it.
mhm. The thing about lesson plans is like I feel like even when I'm gonna be a teacher myself, I'm gonna write lesson plans, but I'm not gonna actually like say everything. Yeah.
I think as long as we have um like the main ideas from our lesson plan, as long as we address those and we're both being active, like I don't think they're going to judge us if we go word by word.
Yeah, I don't think they
So.
would either.
And like when you're up there, when you're actually presenting, you have like different thoughts that like pop in your head than when you actually like planned it out.
And plus those students probably aren't going to say exactly what we think they're going to say. Like
right,
we're going to have to like deviate what we're going to say. So I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, and it's like good though to kind of like have the kids go in a different direction than what we planned, because as a teacher, I mean that's always going to happen. So
exactly.
So I guess maybe we could. I don't know if you wanted to. We could meet a little before the day we like do our teach live, just to like go over some basic stuff.
That would be fantastic.
Okay, because we do that December 2nd at 2.
At 2? Okay.
That's when the class starts. For my class normally starts at 2. So I assume they'll probably talk to us for a little bit, but we'll start not too far after 2.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. It's on a Wednesday, right?
Yeah, on a Wednesday. Yep.
Yep, that'd be good.
Okay. And then if you need any help with like the poster of scales or anything, like just say and I can always help.
All right.
Okay,
I think we're gonna kill it. I think we'll be good.
Yeah. I mean, I feel that way too. So that's good. You're actually the night class that she has is actually doing Teach Life tomorrow. So hopefully if there's any like major problems they're having, like we'll like kind of benefit from that, so we'll know.
Yeah, I hope
change anything.
No, that's a good. Yeah, I should definitely talk to somebody who I know a couple people that are going tomorrow. I'll double check it with them and see like how it goes with their rainbow fish lesson.
I think a lot of people are doing rainbow fish. I don't really know many people who are doing the clock one.
I was talking with some of the girls in my cohort, and they were they were all doing the clock lesson, and theirs sounded super confusing. I was like, yeah, I'm way okay with doing rainbow fish.
Yeah.
Like I actually know the book, so it kind of helps. But like,
yeah, I do too. I think that's why I like picked that one, because I've actually read it. Okay, so I guess I'll add what you said to like put in the plan supports, and then I think we're pretty much done with We have all our hangouts in and our lesson plan, so
Yeah.
we're pretty good.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, just if you need like any help with anything, just email me or or hit me up on Google or anything, and then
Yeah.
I'll try and help.
Okay, well, thanks for meeting up with me.
No,
Last
no
one.
problem. I was just saying I'm glad that we got everything done. So.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, well, I'll talk to you.